Good morning, Wildcat fans. We have basketball, but first, we have Arizona versus Houston in early Big 12 action.
Welcome on in, everybody, to the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. And I got a little bit of morning sickness. Yeah, I don't know what you call it exactly, but definitely tired on this one. Sure, you guys are too, Kevin. We're ready to go, though. We got some Arizona Wildcats football, basketball. We're going to be talking it all day long on this fine program. Make sure that you guys are here for the post game. Make sure that you guys are here for the basketball post game. But first off, let's have a little bit of a pregame with our friends here, Kevin. We're here. We're in PHNX HQ3. It's Damon. It's Kevin. It's the boys, and it's 8:30 a.m. for Arizona Wildcats pregame. Kevin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, feeling great. We got basketball coming up at 2 p.m. We got a huge matchup that could decide whether or not Arizona has real bowl eligibility potential this season. A lot is on the line this morning. I'm ready to get to it. As Leah says in the chat, it's a triple show day, and that's a triple bang, 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 bang. Noah in the chat with a bang. Shout out to everybody here for tapping in, waking up early to watch some Arizona Wildcats football. And as Damon alluded to, what's in my cup, what's in your cup, it don't matter what's in my cup, but I'll let you know. It's Three Amigos Tequila, Damon. Are we ready to wake up this morning? Because, there's only one way to wake up on college football game day, and that's with our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila.
This is a fact, Kevin. We also, in fact, brought some potential chasers for ourselves this morning because we decided, Kevin and I made the executive decisions, 8:30 a.m., chaser allowed. Chaser allowed at 8:30 a.m. when you're taking tequila shots. But Kevin, I'll let you start this thing off. We're doing our little shots fired segment. We're going to try to get some branding on it as we go forward. But Kevin, shots fired. You're going to take a shot. You're going to attack somebody. Have you prepared who you will attack this morning?
Kind of. Yes. Yes. In a way. Yeah. I got to be careful, but yes. Yes.
Would you like to take the floor, sir?
Shot first?
Yeah.
Would you like to take a shot with me and then just rip yours after?
No, I think you do the shot and then you
Okay.
you immediately go into your little thing.
Okay, here we go. Shout out to Three Amigos. That was a hefty one, Damon.
Your boy might have poured a little bit too heavy of a shot.
Yeah, that was a large one, but it was delicious. Shout out to Three Amigos. Like, that went down very smooth. That was probably 2 shots or a shot and a half in a red Solo cup, and it just went right down very easily. Good morning. Wow. And good morning to Connor Wigman, whose wig will be snatched on live national television today, as Genesis Smith will be playing in the backfield. The D-line will be playing in the backfield. Tackles for loss left and right. Connor Wigman, wig snatched Saturday morning.
Love it, Kevin. I feel like this one was coming for a long time. I've been preparing this one, and maybe it's not what people want to hear. But Kevin, without further ado,
Salud, my brother.
Brent Brennan.
Oof.
Let's coach like we want to win this football game today. Let's not coach like we're trying to protect the lead. Let's not sit our DBs 10 yards off the ball. Let's coach like we want to win this football game today. And let's go out there. Let's be aggressive. And honestly, Kevin, let's get our second road win under the Brent Brennan era. I feel like I've been pounding that drum all week, and that's part of the reason why you're going to see my score prediction is what it is in a second. But I legitimately am I don't have confidence in this head coach to win games in a road environment. It's up to Brent Brennan and co to prove me wrong. And I hope that they do so today at 9 a.m. in just a mere 23 minutes here as Arizona kicks off against Houston. But Kevin, we do have a lot to talk about today in this one. So where should we start?
Let's start with the matchup battles. Let's break down this matchup here between Arizona and Houston because, spoiler alert, it actually is a very close matchup, right? I think coming into the year, the first, I would say 4 or 5 weeks of the season, I think a lot of people had Arizona and Houston, and then maybe if you were really smart, Cincinnati as like a sexy pick of like, ooh, this could be a surprise team in the Big 12 Conference. There were rumblings of that left and right. I think as time has passed on, Arizona loses to Iowa State. Arizona chokes against BYU. No longer are they in that kind of conversation. However, I think in terms of skill level, Houston and Arizona are still very close together. Willie Fritz is coaching the hell out of that team. Connor Wigman, despite the fact that I said his real hair might get snatched off his head like a wig today, he is doing his job for Houston, and he's looked very good doing it. You and I were talking yesterday about how he's not quite a dual threat, but he is still able to run the ball and pull it at times. And let's just get here right into the matchup battle number 1, quarterback. Noah Fafita is the better quarterback in this matchup. We thought about potentially making it like same because Connor Wigman has this acclaim of a past of being a 5-star and Texas A&M guy, but he just isn't as good of a quarterback as Noah Fafita. Like I like the you can't really cut it too many other ways. Damon, how do you feel about this one?
I agree with you. I think Connor Wigman has been pretty good, but even if you talk to Houston fans, they'll be the first to tell you that Connor Wigman is not groundbreakingly good. Like he's been decent this year, but sorry. He's not been like the reason that Houston is 5-1, the reason Houston is winning games. And I think that has a lot more to do with Willie Fritz, has a lot more to do with this Houston defense. So for that reason, I think that, yeah, I'm on the same page. Like Noah Fafita has not been the reason that Arizona has lost any game. I'm not sure that Connor Wigman has been the same, but I just think Noah Fafita has been slightly better this year.
I agree with you. And I think he's also slightly more talented, like in terms of just raw quarterback play. Moving into the running backs, Arizona has the edge here. Houston has a pretty solid running game, Damon, but I think you and I both felt that Arizona has the depth and the versatility to match Houston and get the nod in this category.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Houston is pretty good running the football. It's kind of their calling card when it comes to their offensive game plan. So expect Houston to try to run the football a lot, especially after Arizona gave up 250 plus on the ground to BYU last week. But I expect, Houston's run game to be kind of what they lean on. But I also think that Arizona's running backs are just better if you look at them in a vacuum. Houston has one guy. Connor Wigman's their second leading rusher. Arizona has 3. Noah Fafita also can scoot a little bit. So I like Arizona's rush offense a little bit better than Houston's.
Moving into pass catchers, Houston gets their first matchup battle win with this one. Tanner Koziol and Amari Thomas kind of leading the way there. When you and I were doing this, previewing this game, Damon, my take on it was, and I believe you agree, which is hence why we did the graphic the way we did it, that the top end of Houston's pass catchers are better than the top end of Arizona's pass catchers by such a large margin that I don't think that Arizona's depth and versatility can give them the nod or bring it even, right? If Arizona had a Tanner Koziol, whew, oh my goodness, what this offense could be. Amari Thomas, that's a number 1 receiver on Arizona's roster, right? So I think you have to be realistic and give the nod to Houston there. Although, right, Arizona does have a lot of depth to their pass catchers. They do have a lot of versatility. It's not like by a super wide margin that Houston gets this one, but you have to give the nod to Koziol, who, as Kobe says, is a pro and has been like a NFL-like safety blanket for Connor Wigman, right? Like anytime Wigman is in trouble, anytime Wigman just needs some yardage, Koziol is always there. So, yeah, they get the nod in the pass catchers, Damon.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Koziol is he'd be far and away the best tight end on this roster. Thomas would probably be the best receiver on this roster. And our receivers, frankly, haven't really stepped up, Kevin. And we'll get to that here in a second as well. But it's just not exactly what has been Arizona's bread and butter this season. Obviously, kind of the loud Nunu Watley drop of the to end the game versus BYU. I think a lot of people like that sticks with them. And then, you didn't see a lot of Trey Spivey in this one. You didn't see a lot of, you did see Chris Hunter, and I expect more of that. By the way, Chris Hunter is a game time decision here on the availability report. And we'll get to that here in a second as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that you look at these pass catchers, they probably have the 2 best pass catchers in the game. So that's why I think that they get the nod. Arizona would be in a different place if they had an Amari Thomas and a Koziol.
They might be undefeated.
Yeah.
Straight up. which is kind of crazy, or at least 5-1, or
Yeah.
what would it be, 6-1 or whatever?
5-1.
Yeah, 5-1.
Or 4-2, but yeah,
Yeah.
we could have been 5-1, 6-0.
Better than Sam Olsen? No way, says Kobe in the chat. Who knows?
Hot take.
Spoiler alert on my keys, my bad there. But matchup battles, offensive line, Arizona gets the nod. And I think it's mostly because they've been improving week over week over week, Damon. The Arizona offensive line, we complained about them a ton the first couple weeks of the season, and rightfully so, right? The costly penalties in goal-to-go situations, the poor technique in the holding areas of the game as well, like costly penalties that got this offensive line a Beef of the Week award early on in the Big 12 season. They've taken that and built on it, and they've become one of the better units in the conference, as you see by PFF. You and I were looking at it yesterday, and not like shocking that they're rated so well, but like a lot of Arizona's linemen are well thought of by PFF right now.
Tristan Bounds, Ty Buchanan.
And the guy that we think might be the best of them all, Alexander Deuce, is the lowest rated guy right now for Arizona's offensive line. So I think you have to give them the nod in this one. And, I'll let you talk about the Houston side of things, because it's not as nearly as pretty.
No, it certainly isn't. Houston has 3 games in the red. If you look at PFF in terms of their pass blocking grade, that's not their run blocking grade. It's just their pass blocking. But I think Houston struggles on the O-line a little bit. When they play a good defensive line, it's bad. They probably played the best defensive line in the country in Texas Tech. And Kevin, I've never seen a score from PFF that low. We were looking at it yesterday. Guys, it was 1.1 is what the PFF grade for all of Houston's offensive line was in the Texas Tech game. And granted, Texas Tech is the number 1 rated pass rush in the entire country right now. So, it bears noting that they're really, really good. But I also think that Houston struggles. They don't have a great offensive line. And I think Arizona needs to take advantage of that today. So while Arizona's offensive line is maybe not stellar, it's pretty good, not stellar. I think that it's much better than Houston's. And it's going to be one of the main things that Arizona's going to have to try to lean on and go against to win this one is the offensive line play.
I agree with you, Damon. The offensive line has to step up in this one. The run defense, though, goes to Houston and Carlos Allen Jr. Arizona does not have, especially without Trey Smith for the rest of the season, a player that can impact the game on the defensive line like Carlos Allen Jr. And it is going to be, we talked about the offensive line stepping up. They're going to have to make sure they step up against that guy because he is a very high caliber rusher. In the run game, Damon, what do you see, though, with this one?
Yeah, I think Houston's run defense is probably their best aspect of their defense. And their defense is good in general, don't get me wrong. It's similar to Arizona. They're kind of a similarly built team. They struggle a little bit on offense. I think Arizona's better on offense. And they're really good at defense. And so because of that, they have good DBs, but they have a really good ability to stop the run game. And so I think that they're better at stopping the run than Arizona is. Especially after Arizona just gave up so many yards on the ground to BYU. I think you got to give the nod to Houston. So that's where we're at with that one. You go into pass rush, and it's pretty damn even. You look at the numbers there. I believe Arizona has 1 more sack than Houston. Very even across the board, Kevin. Not much to write home about. But the DBs, this one is interesting. Arizona's best players are its defensive backs, and we have same. Now, that's because Houston, if you look at their grades, if you look at their team, very similar. Their safeties, along with Arizona's, also at the top. I think their corners maybe slightly better than Arizona's, while Arizona's safeties are slightly better than Houston's safeties. But it's an interesting discussion.
It is, and I think when you're looking at 2 defenses that are as productive as Arizona and Houston's, whose both primary players are their DBs, I think you kind of have to give it a same, right? Like the impact that both units are having to their respective defenses is outsized, and for that, I do think it's same. And I think you're going to see a pretty entertaining matchup from a defensive standpoint today as well. I'm really excited to get a really close look at Houston's defense. Obviously you tap in with these Big 12 games, but when they're playing your team, it's a little bit different. Yeah. So very excited to get a look at that Houston defensive back room. And then honestly, spoiler alert, this might be the case for the rest of the season here until things are proven otherwise. Special teams, opponent, coaching, opponent.
Correct.
Do we really need to give much of a why? Arizona's special teams is ranked in, I mean, last time I checked, they were 134 out of 136. I believe I put that out on my Twitter a couple days ago. The special teams has not been efficient. There are not many units in the country, maybe I think besides, I'm not even joking, maybe besides ASU, worse in the country at special teams in Arizona. They're not going to win this battle maybe but once, and it might be in the Territorial Cup. And that's just I don't know. Special teams sucks, to be honest with you.
Special teams is not good. Craig Naivar needs to figure some things out. And Kevin, I mean, even if Arizona's making some kicks, they're still making other mistakes, such as kicking BYU the ball back, when you have the lead, and giving up a 35-yard punt return so that BYU already is in Arizona territory. And that lost the game pretty much just then and there. And I feel like that almost goes under the radar. We haven't talked about that all week. Like, it almost goes under the radar how bad special teams screwed up in that circumstance.
Yeah.
You gave BYU, and by the way, it took BYU 12 tries in the red zone once they got inside the 25 to score. It wasn't easy for them. Like, our defense, with them needing to get 70 yards, probably looks a lot different, Kevin. And so for that reason, it's like, I think the special teams screwed up that game again. You could say it screwed up the Iowa State game. And as far as coaching, yeah, it's until proven otherwise, we're going to say that the other team probably has the coaching advantage. Until Brent Brennan is not taking knees with 19 seconds left, that's probably going to be the case. And unfortunately, like, as much as Kevin and I sit up here and we love Seth Dagey, we love Danny Gonzalez, I think we have the coordinator advantage, and those guys are calling plays, so that's important. But Brent Brennan is still making big decisions, and honestly, I don't think that we trust him over Willie Fritz in big moments to do so.
Our favorite dinosaur in the chat, Raptor, wants to know, does Arizona even have a special teams coach? And I'm not laughing at this question to make fun of you. I'm laughing at the question because, yes, they do, and that is how bad the unit has been, that we have someone in our chat asking, are they even being coached on the stuff? But yes, it is Craig Naivar. They do have a special teams coach designated to do that one thing. So hopefully it improves. If it doesn't, it could cost Arizona some games down the stretch of this season. Who knows? As Kobe says in the chat, special teams, special plays, special players. And Damon, as we move on from our matchup battles into our keys to victory in this one, we're going to start with key number 1, keeping Noah Fafita upright in the pocket. You and I were looking at his PFF rating yesterday, and Noah Fafita, when he is kept in a clean pocket, is one of the best quarterbacks you can grade. Literally. He's like a 90-plus grade on PFF, which is very good. That is very, very good. When he's in an unclean pocket, pardon me, I don't know how they designate that. I don't know if they count pressures. I don't know if they count, like, how they designate what is an unclean pocket. But it drops precipitously into the 60s. And the 60s, that's still an okay rating. Like, it's not like you're the worst quarterback in the country under pressure. However, when you are this good, and for our audio listeners, my hand is very high in the frame. When you're this good, when you're kept in a clean pocket, and you're this good when you're under pressure, we got to keep the man clean. We on the road in an early window game, you have to play efficient football. You have to stay on schedule, and you cannot turn the ball over. And I think the best way to do that, specifically the last bit, which is actually key number 2, winning the turnover battle, is to keep Noah Fafita upright and let your defense work. Because if you let Danny Gonzalez's defense work, especially in advantageous field positions, they're going to turn the opponent over. That's a fact. Key number 2, win the turnover battle. This defense has to not only be effective, but it has to be disruptive today. And I think that winning the turnover battle, breaking out that turnover sword on the road, is going to be huge. Key number 3, we touched on it earlier in the show, wide receivers got to step up. And I'm not saying that like as if they've been bad for the whole season, but I think what we have seen is, I think it's been disappointing, the wide receiver core, because you're not seeing the big playmaking that it was promised, the speed that was promised.
Yeah,
and I think they have you were. And you have the capability, pardon me, again, but you have the capability to do that. You have the capability to be playmakers. You have Trey Spivey. I want to see Trey Spivey. You know what I mean? Chris Hudson, he stepped up last game. I want to see someone else step up today. And I want to see consistency out of Hudson as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that these receivers need to step up in a big way. We heard all offseason from Seth Dagey, from Noah Fafita, from Damon, from Kevin, from every Arizona Wildcats fan that the receivers were kind of something to write home about. And it just hasn't been that thus far, so far this season. And last game, you could really make the argument that they lost you that matchup. Them not making a play lost you that matchup. So need to see better today. Need to see better out of Nunu Watley. Need to see better out of Sam Olsen. Not that Sam Olsen was put in advantageous positions, because I think he's being thrown the ball and being asked to break a tackle, but no more of that. I don't need to see Sam Olsen in one-on-one situations trying to make a guy miss. Like, he's not going to do so. Let's put our guys in the right positions to win, and let's pick the right guys to do so. And maybe I saw our guy Mo Paina say this on Twitter, Kevin. Let's maybe shorten up the receiver rotation. No more Gio Richardson, no more Isaiah Mizell. They'll have their time later, but It's Luke Wysong, it's Trey Spivey, it's Chris Hunter, it's Chris Hudson, and it's a little bit of Nunu Watley. You know what I mean? And it's those guys. Lean on those guys, and hopefully things get better. Now, Kevin, we do unfortunately miss our bets last week.
Yes.
Bye
week.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I guess. You were out of town. You gave me your bets.
Yep.
I didn't give mine. We didn't do it. But today, we're going to give our bets right before because we have an early kickoff, and I'll let you start off, Kevin. I didn't make a graphic for this guy, so I'll just let you go ahead and say it off dome. What are your 3 favorite bets for today?
No, for sure. Let me pull it up real quick with our friends over at Bet365 on my mobile app because that's how quick and easy you can do it. I have Arizona minus 1.5 on the spread there at minus 110. I just believe in the Cats in this one, and also, to be quite honest with you, I think you'll see this in my second bet as well that I'm about to get to. I didn't really fall in love with any of the lines out there this weekend, so I kind of just went with what I think might happen. And I have Arizona minus 1.5, which actually I think, considering they started as a dog and now are a favorite, I think I'm on the right side of this one as well.
Vegas Tech loves U of A.
They do. Texas Tech minus 7 against Arizona State. I think Will Hammond is the better backup quarterback in this matchup. And I think that when you look at what happened to Arizona State against Utah, right, in that matchup where they did not have Sam Leavitt, and they do have a really good defense, but they are getting picked apart by injuries as well on both sides of the ball. And I think it's going to be too much to overcome in this one, even though you're at home. I think Texas Tech covers the spread. I'm not saying they blow them out. I'm not here to hate on nobody. I'm not going to kick you while you're down if you got a bunch of injuries, which they do. If they were fully healthy, I'd be kicking them. But they got a bunch of injuries.
Texas Tech's not healthy either.
I know. No, that's true. But I do believe in Will Hammond to get it done on the road like he did in Utah just mere weeks ago. Michigan minus 4 against Washington, Damon, today at 9 a.m. in 5 minutes here. I think Jed Fish does not get it done on the road, and that Michigan's quarterback gets it done. So
yeah, like him, Kevin, like him, myself. For my bets, I'm going a little bit conservative on this first one. Purdue, Northwestern. I'm taking Northwestern money line at home, minus 166 with our friends at Bet365. Purdue is awful. They're the worst team in the Big Ten. I think Northwestern at home is able to get the job done. That's where I'm going with Northwestern. Let's keep it simple, stupid. Over 66.5, Kevin. Over 66.5 in TCU Baylor.
Wow.
Josh Hoover.
Wow.
Sawyer Robertson.
No defense.
No defenses. Lots of points. I like the over in this one. And then to round things out, I'm going with fraud alert, Utah minus 4
wee woo.
Over BYU, who are frauds at home. I don't care about the big environment. The fact that Utah is favorited over BYU, I think, is very telling. I think that tells you exactly how to feel about BYU. I don't like doing this team that just beat us in a bad way is actually a bad thing, but I genuinely don't think BYU is all that good. I think they're almost Arizona level, and they've played nobody, and they snuck away with a win in Tucson. And so it is what it is. And I think Utah is a step above that, and that's why after a big win last week, I think Utah snowballs that into a big win versus BYU.
Plus, Dave Portnoy is decked head to toe in BYU gear right now, and that cannot be a good omen if you're the Cougars. So I will be backing that as well. I'm also on Utah, as I told you earlier this week. Historically, if you're just going to bet on this matchup blindly, Utah is the way to go. They have the lead in this series all time, and I think that historically they get it done.
Utah minus 4 on the road, as Kobe says, favored by a good bit. Pretty insane.
Yeah.
Minus 4 on the road against BYU in a crazy environment in a rivalry game. I think that is very telling. And that's why I'm going with Utah.
And those are our best bets for the week, right? Did you get all 3? You got all 3, right?
Yep, that is all 3 of our bets today. Now is time for our score predictions.
Because as AZ Cat Dan says, thanks for staying positive, Damon and Kevo. Hopefully UA shows up today. BTFD, go Cats. And not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend, because these are our score predictions for today. I have Arizona getting it done. We don't do these. We do these independently of one another, and then I make the graphic and I ask Damon what his score prediction is. Pull behind the curtain there. Us having the same score, purely coincidental, but they're flipped. I have 24-17 Arizona. Damon, you have 24-17 Houston.
Yeah, I think that the defenses are both teams' best attribute. I think that both teams' defenses will show up in a big way in this game, and I expect it to be fairly low scoring because of that. So, personally, I've said it before. I can't get myself to back Brent Brennan in a road environment until I see it happen for the second time ever. You know what I mean?
It's valid.
And you know, that Utah game last year was a big game at the time. It was a crazy environment. It was a blackout in Salt Lake City. We know how those get. Those are wild, wild games. But that being said, Utah was really bad. And so was Arizona, but Utah was really bad. I need Brent Brennan to show that he can be a decent to good team in a road environment before I'm confident that he has that in his bag. And that's the reason that I'm going with a low-scoring Houston W. Kevin, you're going with Arizona by the exact same scoreline. Why is that?
I feel like the defense is going to get it done. I feel like the defense carries you to victory in this one. I think the offense will be good enough to get you 3 touchdowns and a field goal. They're not going to be exceptional against Houston's defense, but they'll be effective enough. And I think the defense will simply carry you to victory in this one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and really shine it up like Arizona's going to go out there and blow them out 35-17 or something. This is going to be a very close game that's decided on the margins. And if Arizona capitalizes on the keys to the game, like I said, which is winning the turnover battle, getting a couple extra possessions in this game, and shutting Houston down, I think they probably get 2 scores in there, and that's about it, right? So 17-24 is my score. Denny Gonzalez will probably be our MVP after this one in Houston, yeah.
Yeah, that's Kevin's score. That's Damon's score. And we got a football game on the near horizon, Kevin, in just a mere matter of moments. I'm sure everyone was shocked to see Damon Pickle loss and Kevin Pickle win, but that's the AZ Wildcats podcast. We appreciate everybody for joining in with us on pregame. We'll be live postgame about 10 to 15 after the clock hits 0. So make sure you turn those notifications on. You like this video and you are there for that one. Going to be excited to hopefully talk about an Arizona Wildcats W in our postgame show. But until then, I am at Damon Dog.
Real quick, sorry to mess up your flow, your good juju you had going. I do have one really quick funny thing because I know it's morning and I know you and I have not eaten breakfast, so we are both hungry. But you know who has eaten breakfast? Our good friend Justin Spears, who put this out on Twitter that said, Houston just skyrocketed near the top of my rankings for best press box food. Brisket breakfast burrito, yes, sir. Okay. I need me one of those, Damon. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with the world.
Very Texas of them. Kegs and eggs, a little bit of tailgate action. And,
we know our guy Spears is always going to be eating good. So yeah. I just had to share that with the world. Our guy Spears, our correspondent, is taking care of himself in Houston.
Always taking advantage of the local delicacies, our guy as well. But Kevin, you are so right. We do have a game to get to here in just a mere matter of moments. I'm at Damon Dog. He's at Kevo Post. We're at PHNX_Wildcats. This is the AZ Wildcats pod, and we'll catch you on post game. Until next time, peace out, bear down.
And go Cats. Let's get a W today.
We all silly like the mayor.